Hello there. What is going on, everybody? You might be confused at what you're looking at today. Are we talking about Imperial Assault? Yeah, I'm going to talk about Imperial Assault a little bit today because it is a game that I know tons of you have fallen in love with over the years. It has recently been declared a complete product. I say recently, I'd say within the last year or so. I think it was last Star Wars Celebration. It was finally officially declared a complete product. So we're probably not going to be seeing any new Imperial Assault stuff from Asmodee or Fantasy Flight Games. And there's a long, complicated history that goes into all of that. It has a lot to do with Hasbro and board game licenses and legalese. Definitely can tell you that they wanted to do more. Steve Horvath even years ago said they were definitely going to be doing more, but it appears that there's not anything new coming out, at least in the way of from FFG, but that doesn't mean there isn't any new stuff for Imperial Assault. So we're going to talk about that today a little bit in something called the Imperial Assault Continuity Project, or IACP, as they are more commonly known. And also maybe a little bit of previews of some of the latest new Imperial Assault stuff coming out from them. If you guys are new here to the channel, I do talk a lot about Star Wars tabletop gaming, games like Imperial Assault, also Legion, and the new Star Wars Shatterpoint, and Armada, and X-Wing, and Star Wars stuff in general. Plus, we're doing a big giveaway right now for a Star Wars Shatterpoint core set in the form of a $165 Amazon gift card. If you want to have a chance to enter to win that, you just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. Let me know what your favorite Star Wars tabletop game of all time happens to be. For me, it's probably a toss-up between Star Wars Armada and Star Wars Rebellion, depending if we're doing a war game or a board game. But I had a lot of great memories with Imperial Assault. This one came out and was unlike anything else. And it's funny, the cycle, because there's definitely a market for Star Wars miniatures games, dudes on a map kind of games. And that's exactly what this one did. And this one was such an incredible game, too, because it had, this whole campaign, like Descent, and Descent was a great game, too. It had this whole deep RPG-style campaign where it was like one player plays the Empire and everybody else plays the heroes. You level up and you keep, gain new equipment, buy new gear, gain new skills, try new maps out, and try to advance the storyline. But it also had a skirmish mode, and the skirmish mode was really good also. I've been to several skirmish tournaments and events, and it's just really an incredible value, an incredible game. And I feel like it's been thinned down over the years as Legion has come out, which has the skirmish combat but doesn't have the campaign. And then you have Shatterpoint, which is then kind of coming out, which is Again, we have that one's not out yet, so we don't really know, but it definitely doesn't. There's no campaign, right, in Shatterpoint, and so Imperial Assault had a lot of things that no other games have had, and it's just a really, really cool experience playing it. It's still available for sale. It's still getting printed. It's still in stock. You can still buy this game. There's lots of content for it, lots of expansions. But in the way of a new product, the only way you're going to get new product is through something called, basically fan initiatives like the IA Continuity Project. So basically what this is like a continuing committee of folks and people within the community that have decided to start working on keeping this game going and keeping the game alive, keeping new content up in there, and balance and adjustments and new cards. And a really cool thing that they've done is not only kind of coordinated tournaments and continued play events, but also come out with these different seasons. And basically what a season is going to be, think of like a rapid reinforcements for Armada, or like a small card pack of like, here's a small but meaningful dump of new content for the game that that they have internally play tested and then also externally play tested and balanced for the game. And this is interesting because it's a kind of a blend. I'm going to show you some of the things that they've come out with, because they've come up with some new card packs and new units for popular things that have shown up in canon. A lot of stuff from the Mandalorian. We've got Moff Gideon, you got Mandalorian, Dark Troopers, and in IA fashion. Of course, they have their logo on them. They do not sell these as physical card packs. There's nothing being sold as far as like physical gameplay products. That would usually doesn't work out for people who are trying to do stuff like that. So this is all PDF available for free now. They are also our modules for like Vassal and for I believe TTS as well. And you can get all of this information, a lot, walkthroughs on exactly, more information on what they are, what they do, their history, how you can play with these cards and stuff. It's all at ia-continuityproject.com. I'll put a link to that in the video description below, so you can check that out for yourself. But it's basically a continuing committee for keeping this game going. And not only is it new cards and new things, and they also have the little cardboard cutouts too, because if you have existing miniatures you want to use, you can do that. You can proxy miniatures. You can just use the cardboard cutouts if you want. So they give you the like a little print on their PDF that you can also print out the cutout, and you can use that. But in addition to brand new stuff, they've also done kind of balance changes and fixes and replacements for existing cards out there. So if you want to, maybe Boba Fett wasn't balanced, forever, and maybe there were some balance changes that never really got addressed when this was still under active development. Because we know there were a lot of balance problems between the core, from the core set to where the game was like a year after that or 2 years after that. Lots of stuff. I remember Darth Vader was one of the worst offenders that had to get tons of changes. And they were doing this in a different way when FFG was doing it at the time. They would do it in forms of like upgrades and like, well, here's a special title that you can give to this person to make them better, and here's and now, like, it's funny when you look back at how they used to do it. Like, well, let's just, I think back to like X-Wing. They were like, well, let's give X-Wings an astromech that makes them better. Oh, well, let's give X-Wings a configuration or a title that makes them better. And it wasn't enough. Well, now we need to make another proton torpedo or another pilot that has synergy with X-Wings that makes them better. Or just redo the X-Wings. And that's kind of what they're doing here, is like they've just redone some of these cards to balance them and make it more viable. And so I thought that was a pretty cool thing. But another thing that the IACP does is they have these different seasons, and they try to include stuff that has new miniatures, that has miniatures in existing games like Legion, for example, that you can have basically minis that are close enough in scale to be used right away. And so we're going to give you a little preview of Season 8 on basically, they sent me a couple of previews to share with you guys, so a big thanks to the IA community continuity project for that, for sending these out. First one is going to be the Mandalorian Super Commandos. So if you guys are familiar with Legion and Darth Maul, and of course the Shadow Collective box, you will have seen the Super Commandos, and they're looking pretty cool. I like the art that they've gone here. They're mobile. They have Pierce 1. They're professional. They can convert to +3 accuracy. I don't remember if that's even that simple. I have not played IA in a long time, so I might get some of my terminology wrong, but they can surge for accuracy or 2 extra damage. Again, I'm not in Legion. It's called Surge, and I'm probably getting my terminology missed. But the dice have those symbols on them, and so you have some choices on there if you want to shoot from longer away or from more damage, which also kind of reflects a little bit of how the Mandalorians function in other games like Star Wars Legion. They have a jetpack rockets keyword, and where they can shoot out their jetpack rockets, which is really cool. Wow. Once per figure per round, you can spend 2 movement points to choose a hostile figure within 3 spaces and line of sight, roll a blue die, and that figure suffers a damage equal to the damage results, which is a pretty cool thing. It's a reusable jetpack rocket, it looks like. And then they have the shield gauntlets. Once during your activation, you can spend a movement point to gain a shield, which I thought is pretty cool. They're 7 health, speed 4, black defense die, and blue and yellow for their attack. So I thought that's pretty slick. We also have a Scout Trooper for the Empire with +3 Scout Sniper basically. +3 accuracy, a surge for even +3 more accuracy, so you can shoot from really, really far away with these guys. And you can surge for either pierce or extra damage, so you have a lot of, or the extra accuracy. So you have definitely a lot of options there. They have the spy and trooper keywords. They've got a blue and a red for their attack, black defense die. They have camouflage, find weakness, and exploit weakness. So let's say what that's at. Hostile figures 4 or more spaces away cannot draw line of sight to you. You do not blind line of sight for those figures. So that's a pretty nice way to not get counter sniped. When you declare an attack, you may choose to either apply 1 surge to the attack results or have the defender become weakened. And then exploit weakness while attacking a figure with a harmful condition. You may re-roll 1 attack die. So they look like they're going to be very effective snipers, which I thought is pretty cool. And then last up from Inferno Squad, none other than Del Miko. Very, very cool. Great sniper. So Empire getting a little bit of love in these spoilers, although Super Commandos are for scum. But yes, Del Miko is going to have 8 health, speed 4, black defense die, 2 blue and a yellow for his attack. He's going to have surge for 2 damage or 2 accuracy. He's going to have expertise. After you perform an action, you may perform an additional action. Limit once per activation. He can do gifted mechanic, which again reflects very much how he works in Star Wars Legion, which I think is a pretty cool thing. I think the folks who are working on this are definitely players of multiple games. That's what I would wager. And I think it helps too to try to keep something faithful to the design philosophy of the same team that worked on all of the FFG games. So I thought that's pretty cool, keeping some consistency across games. Choose an adjacent friendly droid or vehicle. If you do, the figure recovers 1 and it gains... I don't even remember what that symbol is, honestly. I know there was one of the later expansions where they came out with those new symbols for different tokens. And it was a token that you could spend, so you can kind of bank something. I think it gives them an extra wound that they can put on onto an attack or something like that. And then he can surge for open-minded. After this attack resolves, gain a movement point or another token. That's pretty cool. So yeah, so that's our preview of some of the Season 8 cards from IACP. So check them out over at ia-continuityproject.com. I'll put a link down in the video description below. And again, it's pretty cool to have organizations and groups like this putting out new content for all of you Imperial Assault players out there. I'm curious how many of you have already been playing some of the other IACP seasons and the new cards that they've put out with the game, or how many of you didn't know that these existed and now have some new content that you can check out. Let me know down in the comments section. I can't wait to hear from you guys. Plus, you can join our Discord and social media links. All that stuff is down in the video description below. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and a big thanks to all of my patrons. You guys are absolutely out of this world and help make this channel possible, so thank you for your continued support. I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes, and cowabunga.